Our work on consulting with Ofgem is finally paying off by the looks of it. I've got 3 big updates on 3 of the consultations we've been working on. Hi everyone, I'm Richard Winstone with Over50smoney. Just going to jump straight into it. So we've been working with Ofgem on their consultation processes quite a bit over the last couple of months. And this week there's been 3 updates to 3 of their consultations that I want to inform you guys of. So many of you would have seen this email come through. It was Ofgem's reply to pretty much anyone that has responded to them on the consultation on introducing an allowance for bad debt associated with additional support credit. So as a reminder, they were looking to add £13 to the bill of everyone that pays through prepayment meters to cover the cost associated with bad debt arising from additional support credit given to prepayment meter customers. Sorry, it's a mouthful, that one. So they updated their thinking. They want to introduce a baseline which would reduce the size of the allowance introduced. I'm very much of the opinion that this is a completely unnecessary allowance, and to the energy supplier, the cost is so small that if it's energy suppliers that are leading this, if they're the ones asking for it, they're penny pinching. I don't understand why they need this. Now, for reference, the amount of money that would build in the energy industry for the suppliers would be the equivalent of less than £4 per year per customer. So to us, it's nothing. They're asking for £13 per prepayment meter customer. It'll be less than £100 million, and there's 28 million customers 28 million households in the UK on the price cap at the moment. That's relevant because initially that cost would come out of government spending, which is everybody, so our taxes, and then it would be spread across all households. So we would be paying for it for next year onwards. So it's a small figure to the individual household, and for them, I don't think they need it. My point when I spoke to Ofgem about this was that headroom allowance is something like £25 per household, and we all pay that. Plus, there's already bad debt related costs in the price cap, so that should already be covered. Ofgem have clearly agreed at least slightly, and they're looking to change the methodology to put in a baseline that would reduce the amount of the allowance once it is introduced. I've gone back with this email where I basically say, fine, glad you can see that it is being covered somewhere, at least slightly. How much are you saying headroom allowance attributes to this cost? And then I just firmly put in that I don't think that it's necessary at all. I stand by my guns on that. I don't think suppliers need it. I think I put in the fact that I think they're penny pinching, but it would boost their annual profits by £100 million across the industry. This cost is covered by headroom allowance, and headroom allowance, even though we've asked them to get rid of it, it's still there, and the purpose of it is to pick up things that aren't being picked up in other allowances. That's exactly what this is. £4 per household, you've got £25 per household covering it. We don't need it. We don't need this new allowance. So I pointed that out to Ofgem. I put it in bold. I will have this on my website. I'll put a link in the description below. If you want to say something similar, you want to copy and paste, send it to Ofgem, respond however you wish. They said we got a reply by the 11th of August, which is tomorrow. I'm assuming they'll accept responses anytime up until the close of play, so 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So that's the first update. Okay, so the second update I wanted to give you was on the open letter reviewing additional wholesale costs. If you remember, they're looking at reviewing additional wholesale costs. The consultation documentation was literally just an open letter letting us know that they're looking to review additional wholesale costs. And my response was very short, very simple. We welcome the review. We don't like the wording you've used because we think it's going to increase. They've come back to me. So I know some of you got generic responses to this. They've come back to me answering one of the questions I put in about the time in which they're reviewing. Feel free to pause the video right now and read their response if you want. And they've also done the standard company line of, we're not leaning one way or the other. We're going to see where it goes. It will all be evidence-based. That's fine. I kind of expected that response. So there's not much to update on this except that they are going to do the consultation next month and they're aware of our initial concerns. So I responded to this, thanking him, asking if there'd be a true-up process because they're using predicted data for the last 3 months of the year, they may do a true up next year, which could increase or decrease the allowance if they put it in. So yeah, I will respond to them and say that I do have a view on true up. I think true ups are good. It's always better to work with full data, even if that does increase our costs. I'd hope it wouldn't, but better to do that because I assume on predicted costs, energy suppliers would overpredict to increase the allowance. That's my current expectation. And therefore, if we do a true up next year, then we should get that money back. But when the consultation comes out, obviously my stance will be British Gas just got record level profits 10 times higher than previous records. You don't need to add more to the price cap. I think it's pretty obvious where my stance is every time they receive my responses now. So yeah, when that consultation's out, I will let you know. So the third update is from Neil Kenwood. So we emailed him last week about the excessive profit reallocation charge. A lot of you got a generic response back. Thank you for forwarding that on to me. I didn't receive that response. First, I got a letter from Neil. I responded to that the following day, in which his assistant came back to me and told me that he's now on holiday until the 14th of August, which is fine. But they passed it on to other people in his team to make sure we got a response. You can see all of that communication on the Over50smoney website. There's a link in the description below. I did share this out last week, so you may have already seen it. But it's my letter, his letter, my letter, just all in images there for you to see. I got an email today from another assistant at Ofgem who is organising a meeting between me and Dan Norton, the Deputy Director at Ofgem in charge of price caps, and Rishi Fashani, who is the Head of Price Cap Policy at Ofgem. So the three of us will be having a meeting next week to discuss my last correspondence with Neil Kenwood. I'm not surprised that we're having a meeting. I really welcome it. I'm glad they're engaging with us on this. I did ask some very tough questions in my last letter, in which I almost felt the need to apologise because I know I was being quite stern and quite harsh with the wording of the questions. They were almost accusatorial, I would guess. You can find that letter online, but yeah, I wanted to update you to let you know that that meeting's taking place. I think our work on these consultations is obviously making a difference. I'm going to use next week's meeting as an opportunity to ask Dan and Rishi about when we're likely to see an update on the EBIT price cap, on the EBIT formula consultation. I'm hoping that's not going to be released the same day as the price cap announcement. But as I said in my previous video, I expect it will be, which would be a shame. But yeah, I'm going to press them for a few other bits on that. I'll obviously do another video update next week once I've had that meeting. I just wanted to keep you all in the loop and let you know how it's going. One final piece is that I am currently, I know it's been about a week since my last consultation video, like on an actual consultation that's live. I am working on the customer services one that they've got going at the moment. I'm about 40 pages into it. It's 98 pages. It seems it's a lot to get through, and I am thinking. Comment below if you think it's a good or bad idea. Be interested to hear your thoughts. I'm thinking of, rather than doing a written response that we email, of doing just a video response where I tell Ofgem my thoughts. I'll have some written pieces on the screen where I say I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't understand this. But nowhere in their documentation does it say that I have to provide a written response. I just have to provide a response by a deadline. So I'm thinking do a video response, and if people want to respond to Ofgem, you can send them an email paraphrasing some of the stuff you've heard I've said, saying whatever your thoughts are one way or the other. But I just thought that might be a more useful way to keep you updated on what's happening and send Ofgem a response at the same time. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. But yeah, I'll be posting that hopefully at the beginning of next week. It's a lot to go through. There's a lot in there I don't agree with. I feel like they're taking very weak stances, which isn't fantastic for a regulator. Some of the stuff they're saying as well is like, we're putting in new obligations because suppliers aren't meeting their old obligations, and that doesn't make sense to me. If they're not meeting their old obligations, take away their license. That's the logical step, fine them, whatever you've got to do. But you can't say you're upset with them missing one obligation, so put in a different obligation to supersede that first one. They're just not going to meet the new one either. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, yeah, thank you for watching. Those are the 3 updates I got this week. As always, if you enjoyed these videos, you want to get other people involved, please share our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like the videos, turn on the notifications, all of that stuff. And if you want more information on the other work that we do and the other petition that we're running, please head to over50smoney.com and subscribe to our newsletter there. Thanks, everyone.